I hope this one is clear, right? Delete, drop, and truncate, because this is very frequently asked question. So you should have the thorough understanding of this, and just try from your side as well. Perform this operation on your database level on your data. So if you don't perform, you will not understand. High level, you will see it is, yeah, it is used, but in deep down you will not understand exactly the difference until you perform these operations. Okay, so let's come on, let's get started with the today. So we will cover today two categories, DCL. These are like not use commands, but still we have to you know uh, have the understanding of these commands. DCL we have, which is called a data control language. Data control. Okay, DCL consists of data control language, and we have another set of commands today, commands or operations, whatever you say. TCL, transaction control language. Okay, TCL, transaction control language. Okay, so in TCL we have transaction control language. So everybody must be able to understand this difference, huh? And I believe everybody is taking note of this question, and accordingly they are preparing. So let's cover this select command, which is left from this group. Select is basically used to query the data actually. So whatever the data is, if you can see, select star from practice, but yeah, here it is getting all the data which are present in this database, right? But so if you want to, if you nowadays what's happening, so no, this is, there are like this, these are traditional databases, they don't charge based on to the amount of data queried. What I mean to say is, suppose you are running this query. Okay, this is very minimal table, it don't have like huge amount of data. But if you can say what I told you in the other day, so usually what we get is like, in the ETL process, what I told you, usually what amount of data we get, like millions of records per day. Where did I cover that? In additional only, no? Yes. So okay. So with the, get back to this example we covered to Flipkart. So Flipkart gets 1 million orders per day. Okay, overall, and 1 million orders, in order to keep the data of 1 million orders, and there are like huge number of rows, huge number of columns into that orders data here, like user ID, and then when it is placed, like huge amount of data. This is just a snapshot of this data, but there is like huge amount of data getting generated for one day. So assume that you are getting 1 million of data. Okay, but it is not recommended that you should run this query select star from the practice. Suppose this practice table has almost 10 million of record, or, or maybe 10 TB of data, 10 terabytes, 10 terabytes of data. And if you run this select star from this practice, no, what will happen, it will run this command on this 10 TB of data. And if you are using any cloud service, maybe RDS or google google SQL service, google SQL, that will, they will charge you based on this amount of data scan. Suppose this query is going to scan, we are querying select star, right? And it will scan 10 TB of data. And suppose what are the market, suppose market is charging for scanning of 1 TB of data, 1 TB of data. So when SQL Server, suppose AWS RDS is kind of, suppose it is a SQL service provider, just like we have here in this SQL Server, no? Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. Similarly, we have AWS as a service provider of this SQL. So suppose my query runs on the top of this database, uh, uh, this table select star from practice, and it scan almost 10 TB of data. And AWS says they have their billing unit wise billing. So they will tell that if your query scans the, if your query queries the 1 TB of data, we will charge you $1. $1. But we will not charge you for anything. We will just charge you for the amount of data scanned. We will not ask you for the license of this. We will not ask you for the maintenance of this application. We will just ask you for the amount of data you are going to scan. So it is not recommended way to use select star from any of the table. And if you suppose there are some databases which are the SQL Server is kind of instance based database, so they don't charge based on the amount of data scanned. What I mean to say is amount of, suppose this query we run this query, and this query return data almost 1 TB of data, 1 terabyte. 1 TB is means 1 terabyte of data, like 1 terabyte is equal to 1024 of GB. Okay, and if this much amount of data is getting scanned, so this your architect or someone from your project, which is your program director or manager, will come and say, why you are querying this huge amount of data, and it is charging us like anything. Suppose one query charging like $10 of data, $10 of money. So $10 is equal to like 1,000 rupees you are just running for this query. So it is not recommended way to run this query in the production. So they will say, don't do this. These are just three columns, but in the production tables, the actual data, they have like hundreds and 250. One of my table has like 380 columns. So if I run the query on that, on top of that table, no, this SQL Server also will get hanged, because there is huge amount of data, and it will also say, yeah, I will require huge amount of time to query all the data, and I return with the data. So it takes lots of amount of your time, and when querying everything gets weird. So what recommended way is that select. So star means just I already told you guys, star means everything. Star means star means everything. Whatever we have in this database, just get me that. Star means everything. But in order to, suppose I just want to get the name of the person, and suppose name of the person and his respective digits. Let me query another table. Okay, this is not feasible table to select. Start from orders. Okay, those two maybe might have used it. Okay, so I just, suppose this one, yesterday we queried this data. Suppose I just want to get the order ID and its respective date. So I just want to get the order ID of the customers and their respective order date. I don't want this customer ID, because I'm I don't require this. So what I will do, instead of select star from orders, I will simply do, I want just select, and then order ID, column name, order ID, and then order date, just order date from orders to orders to. Okay, so this is the use of select. So select allows you to use the flexibility, query the data as per your convenience. So just want to now this one, right, order ID and order date from the orders. If I want to filter based on, suppose particular maybe, suppose there is a which one column, I just want to get the data for the customer, where is customer ID is C03. Then I will put the similar filter command. So basically this is the where command, but you call it as a, in order to filter the data. Okay, so where customer ID is equal to 3, C03, C03. Okay, and if I run this query, so just get the understanding of how this so it is just defined as string, and if I simply write it as integer, it will not allow invalid column name C03. Okay, okay, so here we will get only one So how flexibly you can use the select, that is the whole point I wanted to tell you. So in order to select the all the data, we use select star. In order to query the particular column from that table, we just define the column name from that particular table. Okay, that's, and on top of that you want to filter based on any condition, that is there comes the where clause. Okay, I think that's pretty clear for select. Let me write this select, this command. So SUID, let's update it here as select. Select will allow to, in order to query the data from database as per your need. Okay, so this is the use. And then if you want to select column name from table. Okay, and table name, table underscore name. Okay, that is a simple use case of this select. So this one is done. So now let's get back to this one, data control language. Control means, I hope everyone remembers what we covered in the Linux. There was one topic which I covered thoroughly for access, right? Giving the access to particular commands. We covered the ch mode, right? I spent a lot of time on this ch mode. So we took almost a session on this ch mode, how we can manage the permissions for particular users. So similarly, in SQL also we have that utility. Here suppose if you want to give particular permissions to the particular user, suppose we don't give the right permission or read. So let's get back to the Linux. Okay, here we had yes, in the ch mode command we had file permissions like read, write, execute. So there are some users in similar in the SQL also. If you can see, this is my database, and who is the user here? Utreshwar SQL Express. This is Express edition of SQL Server. So Utreshwar Swiss is the my username for the logging this. Suppose I want to connect. I will show you how it is. So here it will ask you like what is this server name. Okay, server name by default here it is like my system, so Utreshwar Express it is. But here are like authentication means if you are using phone pay or Google Pay, right? At that time when you are first setting the Google Pay or phone pay, it will ask you what kind of protection mechanism you want to implement. Like you want to enable the face lock, you want to enable the fingerprint, you want to enable the password with protection, something that there are like multiple authentication methods. So here are also then multi-factor authentication. There are like different options here. So for that they will database guys. So in order to maintain this database, there is another one team. So there are some chances you might also get that role as well if you only learn the SQL. So there is one profile called the database administrator. So like for every application we have admin, right? So similarly in the SQL Server also we have one dedicated role called as administrator. So here uh, in order to get them particular access, suppose we had this read, write, and execute. Okay, so let's just understand these two in the SQL. Suppose you want to you want to just query the data. What do I mean to query the data means, you just want to see the data. You are not performing any of this insert, update, and delete. This comes under the right, because this comes under the right permission. because it's not a just read permission. We are manipulating the database. We are manipulating the data, so it comes under the write permission. But this select comes under only under the read permissions. Read permission. And most of the times what happens, most of the we as a data engineering team, we don't allow everyone to give the right permission, because if you give the right permission or delete permission, no, they can do anything. Sometimes what happens, people don't understand the importance of the data, unfortunately, or maybe intentionally they might delete one or two records. That will create havoc for the database. It is not recommended way to give the access, write access to these guys. So we have DBA team. DBA is called a database administrator team. There is one separate team in order to manage this database. Okay, so this one is done by data control language, is mostly done by DBAs. We call as DBAs. So database administrators. Database administrator. एडमिन मतलब तुम जो ऐसे मान लो कि तुम्हारे एप्लीकेशन सिस्टम पे कोई एप्लीकेशन यूज करना है, और उसको कंपनी में ऐसे नहीं होता है कि तुम डायरेक्टली इंस्टॉल कर दोगे, तो वो बोलते हैं कि जाओ एडमिन की तरफ से इंस्टॉल करके आओ। तो एडमिन वो उसके एडमिन राइट्स होते हैं, उसको वो डालेगा, यूज़र नेम और पासवर्ड डालेगा, तभी उसको एप्लीकेशन तुम इंस्टॉल कर पाओगे। इट्स नॉट अ ईजी इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन लेवल। सो ऐसे नहीं होता है कि जो तुम जाओगे माइक्रोसॉफ्ट स्टोर पे और वहाँ से एप्लीकेशन डाउनलोड कर दोगे और इंस्टॉल कर दोगे। वी नीड dedicated request. We need to raise the request, and then our managers and all this do the lots of stuff. But just to understand, we have another role. If you are looking for the this kind of roles also, if you, after the studying the SQL, there are like these kind of additional roles. So this come under the database administrator, who manages two kinds of permissions here. We have two kind of permission, okay, in the SQL, grant and how this is managed. Data control language has two commands or two operations here, grant and revoke. Okay, so grant means suppose we have one table, or so it is managed at table level as well as the database level. So how it is managed, suppose some guy from the business intelligence team, or what I mean by business intelligence team, I told you that there is like data analyst team or data scientist team. They will say like, hey Utresh, we need some we need data to this we need access to this data, because suppose this is the items table, and in this item tables we have huge amount of data, and they want to perform some analysis on top of this, or maybe they want to, so if it's from data science team, they want to predict the and create some model on top of this items data. So they will say, hey, you have this database, and in this we have maybe these columns. We just want to access these columns, these tables. So they will say, okay, but how this is managed? So then we will say, please raise a ticket with the database administrator. Then database administrator, they will do, they will ask what kind of permission you need. Then he will say, I just want to read the data, so I just want to read the read permission. Okay, so accordingly we will allow them to read this data. So in order to manage that, they will use this grant command. Okay, then they similarly they will run like, now they are managing with the user interface, but there is also command like we use grant, and then we have select. So similar command is, how command is written is like grant means give them, allow them. What select, and then insert. What kind of operations you want to do? Just we want to give him like grant select operations only. He will be able to only select the data, I mean retrieve the data from this database. He will not be able to insert update. So grant select on, and then here we have suppose orders table. So orders grant, उसको मतलब सेलेक्ट का ऑर्डर्स के टेबल पे सेलेक्ट का एक्सेस दे दो। ओके, एंड देन उसका मतलब नाम रहेगा, जैसे मेरा इधर ये है उत्तरेश्वर, जैसे हर एक का कोई ना कोई यूजर नेम रहता है, पासवर्ड रहता है। जैसे अपनी कंपनी में सपोज मैं इन्फोसिस में काम कर रहा हूँ अगर, तो ऐसा रहता है कि उत्तरेश्वर उत्तरेश्वर @infosys .com। ओके, ऐसे मतलब उसका एक हर यूजर, हर पर्सन का एक यूजर नेम रहता है, उसके बेसिस पे उसको सारा एलोकेशन होता है। तो हम बोलेंगे कि भाई इसको ये वाला एक्सेस दे दो, कौन सा, उत्तरेश्वर @infosys को तुम ये वाला एक्सेस दो, कि ये जाके वो ग्रैंड सेलेक्ट ऑन ऑर्डर्स टू उत्तरेश्वर उत्तरेश्वर infosys .com। सो at this moment it will not because ये database level data DBS वाला काम रहता, तो you will not be able to do this. Why this is to maybe okay expecting this. So ये अपना काम नहीं रहता है, फिर भी as we are covering the this all the commands, so just understand that grant is used to give the permissions to particular users on particular tables. Okay, so this is how it is done. Okay, it is not taking this, but just understand we how we give the access. We usually we don't give, DBS gives, but this is how it is given. Okay, so I think orders table नहीं है क्या इसमें? Okay, orders 1 था शायद, इसलिए नहीं ले रहा था उत्तरेश्वर because it doesn't exist or you don't have the permission. तो ये मतलब ये यूज़र ही नहीं है, या तो फिर ये परमिशन ही है। सो बोथ केसेस में हम विन विन कंडीशन है, या तो यूज़र ऐसे उत्तरेश्वर नाम का कोई यूज़र ही नहीं है, या फिर नहीं क्या, तो ये ऐसे इस लेवल पे मैनेज होता है। इसका ये कर दोगे तो ये चलेगा क्या? ओके, ऐसे नहीं होता है, तो पर्टिकुलर यूज़र नेम होता है, उसके लिए बेसिस पे अलोकेट हो जाता है वो। तो ऐसे यहाँ पे मेरा यूज़र नेम है नहीं, तो ये अलाउ नहीं कर रहा है। तो जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड द ग्रांट इज यूज टू give the particular access to the particular person on particular database. Okay, so this is the simply pretty clear. So grant give the access to users to the users based on access type. तो उसको जो मतलब रीड देना है या फिर राइट देना है, तो उसके हिसाब से ये होता है। तो ग्रांट, ओके, एंड देन उसका ये कमांड होता है ग्रांट, देन ऑपरेशन ऑपरेशन टाइप ऑन मतलब टेबल नेम एंड देन टू एंड देन यूज़र नेम, जो जिस यूज़र को नाम मतलब जो परमिशन देना है, तो इस हिसाब से हम दे देते हैं ग्रांट। ओके, सो दैट इज फॉर द ग्रांट। ओके, सो नाउ रिवोक। सपोज हमने पर्टिकुलर यूज़र को ये परमिशन दे दिया था कि वो डेटा रीड भी कर सकता है और राइट भी कर सकता है, तो बाद में कुछ उसने मतलब नहीं किया, अनवांटेड एंट्रीज कर दी, तो हम बोलते हैं कि यार तो ये कुछ भी कर रहा है, ये क्या भी कर रहा है, तो उसको मतलब उसका एक्सेस रिवोक करना है, तो वी जस्ट यूज द रिवोक। उसका बस उसका सेट रहने देते हैं, वी जस्ट रिवोक। ओके, रिवोक इंसर्ट रिवोक इंसर्ट, इसको क्या बोलते हैं, पर इंसर्ट इसको भी सेम रहेगा, रिवोक इंसर्ट ऑन रहेगा, फिर ऑन फिर ऑर्डर्स 1 देन 2, सपोज उत्तरेश्वर, ऐसे यूज़र का जो यूज़र नेम रहेगा। तो इस पे जो पहले हमने जो उसको सेलेक्ट और इंसर्ट का जो एक्सेस दे दिया था, वो हटा देते उसका, तो इंसर्ट का हटा देते, सेलेक्ट का रहने देते, तो सिंपली वी विल एग्जीक्यूट दिस कमांड। सो it will not allow currently, so we don't have that privilege currently. So grant and so simply in order to revoke the particular in order to remove the particular access, we use revoke command. Okay, and then revoke, and then operation type tb for user. Okay, so that's the use of grant and revoke. I think that's pretty clear. Okay, ओके सो ये मतलब एज अ डेटा इंजीनियर या फिर डेटा एनालिस्ट हम जाओगे ना एज वी आर कंसिडरिंग दिस या तुम डेटा इंजीनियर बनोगे या डेटा एनालिस्ट बनोगे मतलब इट्स नॉट विद इन आवर स्कोप जस्ट टू हैव द अंडरस्टैंडिंग कैसे होता है परमिशंस मैनेज कैसे होते हैं तो उसके लिए मैंने कवर किया ये बट इट इज़ नॉट आवर स्टफ वी डोंट डू दिस थिंग्स but just to have understanding keep it this and then there comes the transaction control language so in the transaction in TCL there are two commands rollback and पहले तो commit करते हैं commit and rollback ओके तो कमिट ये भी मतलब ज़्यादा यूज़ नहीं होते इंडस्ट्री में जस्ट टू इसका भी थोड़ा थोड़ा ऊपर ऊपर से ही समझ लो क्योंकि यूज़ ज़्यादा होता नहीं है तो कमिट क्या होता है कि सपोज सपोज कुछ डेटाबेसेस को अगर तुम यहाँ पे कुछ वैल्यू इंसर्ट कर रहे हो ना सपोज ऑर्डर टेबल है क्या ऑर्डर टेबल में डालते हैं कुछ ओके insert into orders values okay and then 1 C02 and then suppose order date let's pick the real one so suppose you are making this entry okay begin transition into okay one row affected ओके सो यूजुअली क्या होता है ये ट्रांजेक्शनल लेवल पे आ जाता है कि सपोज तुम ये एक ट्रांजेक्शन चला रहे हो ओके और मैंने ये कर दिया कि मैंने तो ये कर दिया था कि इंसर्ट इनटू ऑर्डर्स वैल्यूज 1 CO2 एंड देन ये वैल्यू इंसर्ट कर दिया था तो फिर इसको मैं कर देता हूँ रोल बैक okay so let me query this data now so let's start from orders okay what we entered okay so what if you can see we inserted this value right c1 c02 and 2 3 2024 do you see anywhere this value guys so I don't think we have this value so we have one only with the c01 but earlier if you can see now see again okay begin trans ये तो बोल रहा है कि वन रो अफेक्टेड ये इंसर्ट तो हो गया ऑर्डर्स वन में ये ऑर्डर्स वन था क्या ओके ये तो आ गया इसमें वाले ऑर्डर्स वन में और फिर मैं इसको कर देता हूँ रोल बैक तो कमांड सक्सेस कंप्लीटेड सक्सेसफुली सी नाउ आई एम जस्ट क्वेरिंग दिस डेटा मैंने क्या किया इंसर्ट भी कर दिया था इसमें ओके मैंने बिगिन ट्रांस चला दिया बिगिन ट्रांस मतलब बिगिन ट्रांजैक्शन चला हो मैंने वैल्यू तो डाल दिया था अभी मैं चलाऊंगा ना यहाँ पे जाके तो आ जाएगा वैल्यू तो फिर आई जस्ट समटाइम्स गलती से मेरे को कभी कभी ये ट्रांजेक्शनल लेवल पे क्या होता है कि तुमको जो चेंजेस करने हुए ना जो उसके दो ऑप्शंस रहते हैं या फिर यहाँ पे मैं करूँगा कमिट ओके begin trans and now I am just doing the commit okay command completed successfully but it is bit tricky to understand just do this one okay and now if I run this rollback transaction required has no corresponding begin transaction समझ रहे हो तुम यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है थोड़ा ट्रिकी है मैं बताता हूँ थोड़ा सपोज तुम एक डेटाबेस में कुछ वैल्यू इंसर्ट करना चाहते हो और फिर वो वैल्यू देखना चाहते हो कि हाँ सही एंट्री हो रही कि नहीं हो रही और बाद में तुमको कंफ्यूजन हो जाता है कि यार अगर कुछ गलत हो गया तो आई डोंट वांट टू टेक अ ब्लेम ऑन माई सेल्फ। तो ये यहाँ पे एक ट्रिक आ जाती है कि तुम पहले जस्ट एक ट्रांजेक्शन स्टार्ट कर दो, अगर सही लग रहा है तो फिर उसको कमिट कर दो, अगर सही नहीं लग रहा तो उसको रोल बैक कर दो। तो अगर यहाँ पे हम देखेंगे नाउ, तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है क्योंकि ये जब तुम स्टोर प्रोसीजर्स एक मतलब ये ऐसे मान लो कि जो एसक्यूएल के बड़े बड़े प्रोग्राम लिखते हो, जैसे पाइथन के जावा के जो बड़े बड़े प्रोग्राम्स रहते हैं ना, एसक्यूएल के भी मान लो वैसे एक बंच ऑफ दिस ऑल स्टेटमेंट, जिसमें मतलब 100 लाइन का कोड है जैसे मान लो, तो उसको तुम वहाँ पे ऐसे स्टार्ट, वहाँ पे एक स्टोर प्रोसीजर नाम बोलते हैं उसको, तो उसको स्टार्ट करना है, या फिर अगर कुछ गलत हो जाए तो उसको नहीं का कमिट करना है या फिर रोल बैक करना है, तो उस हिसाब से वो मैनेज करते हैं हम। तो उसके लिए रोल बैक और कमिट यूज होता है, अभी क्लियर हो जाएगा। ओके, सेलेक्ट स्टार फ्रॉम ऑर्डर्स, नाउ लेट मी अगेन रन दिस कमांड। ओके, मैंने वन रो अफेक्टेड, नाउ इट विल शो द टू वैल्यूज। हाँ, तो दो वैल्यू तो आ गई। अगर मैं बोलूँगा हाँ मेरे वैल्यू सही जा रहे हैं, तो मैं उसको बोलूँगा ठीक है भाई, ये सही है, ये सही है, मैं उसको कमिट करता हूँ। कमिट करता हूँ मतलब बोलता हूँ कि हाँ ये सही है, अब ले लो, उसमें वैल्यू डाल दो। अगर अगर कुछ अगर मैं अभी ये करता हूँ, नाउ लेट्स चेक दिस। ओके, select star from orders, now we will see we have both the data. Now let me insert the third row, begin trans, and then this one, or let me query the data again. Okay, यहाँ पे फिर से तुमने क्वेरी कर दिया, यहाँ पे 3 आ गए। फिर मुझे लगा कि यार ये सही नहीं हो रहा है, तो उसके लिए हमारे पास एक ऑप्शन होता है कि यार ये गलत हो गया है, मैं इसको वापस लेना चाहता हूँ, जो मैंने किया है वो वापस ले लो, तो रोल बैक कर देता हूँ इसको मैं। तो ठीक है, यहाँ पे ऐसे हो गया। अभी मैं वहाँ पे जाके फिर ये कर लेता हूँ, गया आया डेटा। तो ऐसे जो मतलब नहीं क्या, जो रिस्की प्रोग्राम चलाने होते हैं ना, तो वहाँ पे एक यूटिलिटी बनाई है हमने कि ये वाला बना दो कि बिगिन ट्रांस मतलब बिगिन ट्रांजैक्शन। तुम ये ट्रांजैक्शन स्टार्ट कर दो, ट्रांजैक्शन स्टार्ट कर दो, और अगर वो ट्रांजैक्शन सही है, इफ आई फील दिस entry is valid, then I will say key, I will say that please do necessary changes. Okay, अगर मुझे लगता है कि if I feel this entry is not valid, then what I will do the rollback. तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है जब तुम एज अ डेटा इंजीनियर जब काम करोगे ना, तो यहाँ पे बहुत सारे ऐसे सिनेरियोज आएंगे आपकी ज़िंदगी में कि यार मैं जस्ट देखना चाहता हूँ कि कैसे होगा, या इसका एक अल्टरनेटिव रहता है। फिर हम क्या बनाते हैं, एक बैकअप टेबल बनाते हैं। मैं यहाँ पे एक बैकअप टेबल बनाऊंगा ऑर्डर्स 1 का, इंसर्ट इनटू ऑर्डर्स 5, select star from orders 1, where 1 is equal to 0. Orders 5 star. ओके, तो मतलब हम यूजुअली क्या करते हैं कि इसका एक बैकअप टेबल बनाएंगे, ऑर्डर्स 1 का एक बैकअप टेबल क्रिएट करेंगे, ऑर्डर्स 1 और 1 बैकअप बनाएंगे, और उसमें सारे डेटा डाल देंगे। अगर वो डाटा सही से जा रहा है तो उसको बोलेंगे कि यार सही जा रहा है, फिर ये वाले में फिर से डाल देंगे। तो ऐसे सिनेरियोज आते हैं। तो इसका अल्टरनेटिव ये है कि ईजिएस्ट वे ऐसा रहता है कि तुम ट्रांजैक्शन इनिशिएट करो, अगर वो ट्रांजैक्शन सही चल रहा है तो हम उसको कमिट कर देंगे, अगर नहीं चल रहा है तो हम छोड़ देंगे। जैसे कि मतलब अभी मैं सिखा रहा हूँ आपको, तो अगर किसी को लगेगा कि यार ये अच्छे से सिखा रहा है बंदा, तो वो बोलेगा कि हम कंटिन्यू करेंगे। अगर किसी को लग रहा है कि यार ये नहीं अच्छे से नहीं सिखा रहा है, तो वो बोलेगा कि नहीं, हम आई डोंट वांट टू कंटिन्यू द क्लास, I will leave the class. Okay, so this is a simple example of how rollback and commit use. Okay, so if I fail, let me note it down. Commit and rollback. Okay, and then rollback. If I feel this entry is valid, I will say that please do the necessary changes. And if I don't feel that entry is valid, I will revoke the do. If I feel the entry is invalid, here it should be invalid, I will say that don't do the, please don't make any changes. any changes. So इसका इम्पोर्टेंस बहुत होता है, जिस लेवल पे आप यूज़ करना चाहते हो ना, उस हिसाब से मतलब ये यूज़ में आ जाता है. ओके, सो लेट मी नोट इट. Just a whole second guys, I need to pick up one call. हेलो, बोल की घरी आहे रे. चक्कर जरा थोड्या वेळाने येतो, लेक्चर चालू आहे आता जरा. हां, 9 ते 10 चालू असतोय. हां, असू दे काय ना. ठीक आहे ठीक आहे, हो कॉल करतो तुला मी. ओके सॉरी गाइस. सो इफ आई कमिट हम तब यूज़ करेंगे इफ आई फील दिस एंट्री इज वैलिड, I will say that please do the necessary changes. And if I feel this entry is not valid, then I will say that please don't do this changes. Okay, that is the use of rollback. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है जब तुम रियल टाइम काम करोगे ना, तो आपको इसका इम्पोर्टेंस समझ आएगा कि यार ये कैसे कर लेंगे. तो अभी चैट जीपीटी ये है, तो लेकिन पहले तो कुछ नहीं था, तो इट वाज बिट टफ फॉर अस. ये क्यों नहीं ले रहा भाई? इफ आई फील द चेंजेस, डोंट सी. यस, सो दिस इज द यूज ऑफ रोल बैक. और इसके लिए ये कंडीशन है कि यहाँ पे तुमको ट्रांजैक्शन यू नीड फॉर दिस, you need to initiate the transaction. You need to need to initiate the transaction. मतलब इसको ट्रांजैक्शन TSQL, मतलब आप आगे जाके आपको ये बोलेगा कि आपको ट्रांजैक्शनल एसक्यूएल आता है क्या, तो फिर वो बोलने का कि हाँ मुझे ट्रांजैक्शन TSQL. सो प्रोग्रामिंग लेवल पे हो जाता है, ये क्वेरी लेवल पे नहीं हो जाता. जब बड़े बड़े कोड लिखोगे ना, तो उस लेवल पे आ जाता है TSQL आता है क्या, तो वो रहता है ट्रांजैक्शन एसक्यूएल. यू नीड टू इनिशिएट द ट्रांजैक्शन, मतलब जो भी हम कर रहे हो ट्रांजैक्शन में कर रहे हैं. तो सो यू नीड टू इनिशिएट द ट्रांजैक्शन मीन्स दिस इज द key point guys. I will highlight this one. There is one necessary condition for this. You need to initiate the transaction. Okay, okay, you need to initiate the transaction in order to use these commands. Okay, that is the basic condition for this. So I think pretty clear for these commands, right? Grant, revoke, rollback, and commit, and everything. So I'm concluding this all the commands in SQL. So all kind of operations in the SQL. So we will have to do lots of hands-on on this. It's not just it is just a theoretical part. We will have to do lots of on this. So I will conclude this for the today. That this is done for all the operations or commands in the SQL for this. And if you have any question with respect to this, please let me know guys. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. Hello, any question guys? No question, all good. Okay, so let me go back to the one topic we left earlier. So in the data types, we use string and character, string or characteristic, which are like char, var, char. In the numeric, we use lots of like int, tiny int, big int, bit, decimals, and floats. But we left with the one of the data type, मैंने कुछ डेट्स वाली भी एंट्री करी थी, राइट। सो डेटा टाइप वो बचा था कि डेट डेट तो डेट में क्या रहता है कि डेट 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 में दो तीन टाइप्स रहते हैं। एक या तो फिर सीधा डेट रहेगा, या फिर डेट टाइम रहेगा, और फिर डेट टाइम टू रहता है, टू रहता है। तो ये अगर तुम जस्ट डेट उसका डेट रखोगे ना, तो इट विल जस्ट गिव यू द डेट। बट अगर तुम डेट टाइम दो दोगे तो मतलब डेट टाइम ऐसे रहता है कि सपोज आज का दिन है, जैसे मान लो 2026 and then 4th month and 25th is date. This is simple date, but if you want to have this along with the timestamp, current timestamp we have, so we use date time. Along with date time we will get here like what is time for now, uh, 21 dot 51 and dot whatever the seconds or minutes something. So like in this manner we will get the date time. But here we have another type. So here is date. Okay, this is the date, right? Let me highlight this one, string or characteristics. Okay, data type. Okay, अगर तुमको यहाँ पे एक्यूरेसी चाहिए ना, जैसे मैंने बोला था कि वी हैव फ्लोट एंड डेसिमल्स हियर। सो अगर तुमको ज़्यादा एक्यूरेसी चाहिए, ज़्यादा लेवल पे एक्यूरेसी चाहिए, तो we will go with the date time too. That is all for this date time. It's not a major chunk as we used to cover for the string, varchar and numeric date, right? This is simple, we need not to cover a lot on this. So just keep in the mind we have this, mostly we use the date time, and in very critical cases we use this date time too, but it is bit memory consuming. We usually go with the date time too. So if you creating the table or doing any operations, just use this date time if you want to uh, if you want to have this along with the time. So that is the remaining data type from the earlier class. So date time too, and date. Okay, that is all for this, guys. So tomorrow maybe we will start some another topic from SQL. We will start one or two operations from the tomorrow. Maybe clauses, like just we have covered here the way this comes under the where clause. Okay, this is a clause. What I earlier mentioned you guys, that there is a filter. Okay, so similarly we have this as a clause. So we call them as a clauses. There are like multiple clauses, multiple operations we do using these clauses. So tomorrow we will probably I will see the way, what is the most feasible topic for tomorrow, and we will meet accordingly. Okay, so that's all for the today, guys. If you have any question again.